Hi, my name is Adam, and welcome back to AB Music Theory. Today we will be doing our introduction to music notation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So these are the basic things you will start with in when you come to reading music. This is a whole note right here. This kind of like compressed zero right there, or like a circle. It gets four notes in the measure. So one, two, three, four. Its rest looks like this in a staff, and it looks like it's hanging on to the fourth line of the staff. This is a half note right here where it gets half of a whole note. It's two beats instead of four, one, two. And the rest it has is a little, I should probably mention these like little rectangles. That's the way to remember these two. The difference is, though, that this one hangs onto the top of the middle of the staff. A quarter note looks like a half note, except that the circle has been filled in. And it's made of a quarter, and the quarter note symbol looks like this. It's kind of a weird symbol, but I don't really know how else to explain it. An eighth note is similar to a quarter note, except it has a little tail at the end, and so is a 16th note. The only difference between the two is that, well, not only is the 16th note shorter, but there's two tails. That might be a way to remember how those two are related. You might be wondering, what is all this stuff that you see in here? Um, this is a staff right here. It's made of 5 lines and 4 spaces. I'll get to how to memorize what goes where later. These three symbols are clefs, which tell you what you're going to be playing in. Whether it be a treble clef, which is for like high instruments like a piccolo or a clarinet or a saxophone or a horn or a trumpet, or if you're in bass clef, you could be playing a bassoon or a tuba or a double bass, or an alto clef where you're playing a viola. They'll tell you what what to play in, and it'll change the order of the notes as well. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Um, these two right here are dotted notes. So this is a dotted quarter note. So instead of getting two eighth notes in the quarter note, it gets three. So it makes the note a little bit longer. Similar to the half note, instead of getting four eighth notes, it gets five. It makes the note just a little bit longer, but doesn't really change anything else. Um, these two right here are accidentals. This is a flat and this is a sharp. So let's say, for example, we have a B right here on the middle of the staff. If we made that B flat, it would go a half step lower. And if it was a sharp, it would go a half step higher. How to read a staff. This is what I was talking about. To read a staff, there's some acronyms you can use to remember. For treble clef, learning the lines E, G, B, D, F, you can do every good boy does fine, right? Or for bass clef, you would have G, B, D, F, A. So good boys do fine always. For the spaces, you can do face, F-A-C-E. Or for bass clef, you can do A-C-E-G, or all cows eat grass. Basic acronyms, and they help a lot, especially when I was learning band in the beginning. Here's an example that we can look at some of the things that we've looked at. Let's start with the top of this etude, this prelude. Excuse me. You can see that this is a tie. This is a tie right here. This note is a tie. It kind of ties the notes together. So instead of doing 4-1, it's just 4 and it holds over to the next till the end of the dotted half note. This right here is a fermata. This tells the player to hold a note as long as they feel like it, or until the conductor says otherwise. And I'll get to that in a moment. Right there, this symbol right here. This right here is a time signature. 4/4 in this case. It tells you how many notes are in a measure and what note gets the beat. So if we're looking here, this is in 4/4. So there is four notes in the measure, and the quarter note gets the beat. This is a time signature right here, which tells you which notes to flat or sharp, depending on what you're playing in. So in this case, we are in the key of B flat. Did I say time signature? No, I said key signature. I'm sorry. So in this case, every note here that is B or E will be flat, unless it says otherwise. Unless it says that it's supposed to be natural, which means that it has no flat or sharp. This is their clefs. You can see everything kind of falls in place with the tie and everything. This right here is a pedal symbol, which symbolizes for the player of the piano to use the pedal of the piano to hold the note, make it resonate a lot more. All right, next up, some percussion notations. Because I am a percussionist, I feel like I should give a few examples of what I play. Some of this is for drum sets. Some of this is for concert instruments, like these toms here, like this. So you start with the pedal, the hi hat pedal. You start with your bass drums. You have your floor tom, your mounted toms on the drum set. This is all drum set right here. Then this is concert toms. This would be for both concert and drum set, and snare drum. And this is all these other instruments, your cymbals, your tambourine, all that good stuff. And it's important to know which is which because it can get very confusing at times, especially if it's a fast piece and you have to do a lot. Um, yeah, this may look a little confusing, but I'm about to explain a few of these. I'll get to some of these in a later video. Right now, I want to focus on these symbols right here. This whole block here, and then this one. These are dynamics. These big letters right here. So it goes from in this case, the range goes from pianissimo, which is like over here on the quiet scale, to very loud, fortissimo, very loud. And then there's everything in the middle from piano, mezzo forte, forte, and then the fortissimo. And we can keep going higher than that or lower than that too. We can go from to triple P, triple F, quadruple F. It just keeps getting louder. It all depends on what's been written. A crescendo and a decrescendo, those involve the rate of change of the instrument, of the dynamic, excuse me. So if it's decrescendoing, you're going to get softer and softer as the piece goes on. If you're crescendoing, you're going to get louder and louder. That's all I wanted to cover on this page. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments about the video in particular, this is my first video showing myself. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next AB Music Theory video. Bye-bye.